Located along the southwestern coast of Wales, the shoreline near Carmarthenshire is known for its peaceful scenery and striking natural beauty. Yet beneath that calm landscape lies a darker history shaped by tragedy, accidents, and unexplained events. In this episode, we examine a series of strange encounters connected to the area, experiences involving ghostly figures, disturbing visions, and unexplained creatures. Together, these accounts became known as the Pembrey Forest Hauntings. A few miles from the historic market town of Kidwelly sits the quiet village of Pembrey. Archaeological discoveries suggest the surrounding land may have been inhabited for over 2,500 years. Pottery fragments, ancient earthworks, Iron Age hill forts, and the ruins of Norman structures all point to a long and turbulent history. The nearby coastline also carries traces of warfare and disaster. Storms and shifting tides have occasionally exposed the remains of wrecked ships buried beneath the sands. Vessels believed to date from Roman times through the English Civil War, many once carrying supplies to military positions along the Welsh coast. During the Napoleonic era, the beaches were even considered a potential landing point for invading French forces, leading to defensive measures being strengthened across the region. Further inland, beyond the dunes and forests, lie some of the clearest reminders of Pembrey's wartime past. Part of the land now visited by tourists and hikers was once occupied by the Royal Ordnance Factory. Established during the late 19th century, the isolated coastal terrain made it ideal for dangerous industrial work involving explosives and munitions. When the First World War began, the site came under government control and expanded rapidly to supply ammunition for Britain's war effort. Following a brief decline after the war, operations intensified again during the Second World War as the factory became a major production center. A narrow-gauge railway once carried shells and explosives through the forest toward nearby ports for shipment overseas. The site continued manufacturing and storing munitions into the 1960s before finally shutting down. Unlike many former military sites, much of the complex was never redeveloped. Concrete bunkers, storage buildings, and crumbling structures still remain scattered throughout the woods, slowly deteriorating with time. Nearby stands the former RAF Pembrey Airfield, which played a key role during World War II. Fighter squadrons stationed there defended shipping routes, intercepted enemy aircraft, and carried out training exercises over the Bristol Channel. One tragic incident in 1944 involved a Hawker Hurricane pilot accidentally shooting down the aircraft towing a practice target during a gunnery exercise. Today, the peaceful atmosphere of Pembrey feels far removed from the fear and destruction once associated with the area. Yet local folklore insists the past never fully disappeared. Stories speak of spirits tied to the places where they died, sailors lost at sea, soldiers killed during wartime, and factory workers caught in explosions. Witnesses claim shadowy figures sometimes emerge from the woods or drift silently across the sands before vanishing again. Many believe these sightings serve as reminders that Pembrey's history is far darker than its quiet appearance suggests. In the mid-1990s, a local schoolboy named Jacob Binion and his friend Alan often explored the abandoned remains scattered through Pembrey Wood. On previous trips, they had followed sections of the old railway line by bicycle while exploring the forest. During one visit, the pair decided to map the remaining munitions bunkers for a school project. Arriving early on a warm summer morning, they began sketching the outlines of the abandoned factory grounds before heading deeper into the forest in search of the bunkers hidden among dense vegetation. After documenting several structures, Alan teased Jacob for refusing to enter any of them. Eventually, Jacob agreed. While Alan waited near the bicycles, Jacob approached a bunker entrance partially built into an earth embankment. He descended worn stone steps into the darkness below. Inside, His torch revealed a surprisingly large concrete chamber stretching far into the gloom. The air carried a foul odor that became stronger as he moved deeper inside. At first, he assumed an animal had died nearby, but the smell gradually developed a harsh chemical edge, almost like burnt material. Sweeping his torch across the walls, Jacob eventually noticed a dark stain on the far side of the chamber. As he moved closer, the shape became clear. A human handprint pressed against the concrete in a dark reddish-brown color, with streaks running downward as if liquid had once dripped from it. Feeling nauseated, Jacob stepped backward. Then, without warning, the bunker erupted with blinding heat and light. It felt as though the roof had vanished and fire had engulfed the entire chamber. Looking down in horror, Jacob believed his clothes and skin were burning away. He saw blackened flesh beneath melted fabric and collapsed screaming onto the floor. In panic, he rolled across the concrete trying to extinguish the flames before staggering toward the exit. He abandoned the torch and stumbled back outside, still crying out in agony. But once he reached open air, the flames were gone. His clothing was untouched. His body showed no burns. Nearby, Alan stood frozen in shock after watching his friend burst from the bunker in apparent terror. Neither boy returned to retrieve the torch or finish the map. They immediately left the woods and never returned together again. Years later, Jacob researched the history of the ordnance factory and learned of deadly explosions that had killed workers during both the 19th century and World War I. For him, the horrifying experience inside the bunker became inseparable from the site's violent past. Although Jacob never claimed to see an actual apparition, other reports from Pembrey Woods described similar sensations: intense heat, the smell of burning, and visions connected to charred figures. One of the best-known later cases occurred during the summer of 2006 and involved a local man named Gareth Hughes and his teenage daughter, Rhiannon. While walking through a quieter section of forest near the abandoned factory grounds, they noticed a lone figure moving slowly ahead along the path. At first, they assumed it was another walker. But as they approached, the details became disturbing. The figure appeared badly burned. Its clothing looked scorched and torn, while exposed skin seemed blackened and damaged. The person walked slowly with their head lowered, almost as if injured. Gareth called out to ask if they needed help. There was no response. Rhiannon later recalled that the figure briefly turned its head before continuing forward without acknowledging them. Concerned, the pair hurried after it. Yet when they rounded a bend in the path moments later, the figure had vanished completely. The trail ahead was open and empty, with nowhere obvious for anyone to hide. As they searched the area, Gareth noticed a faint smell lingering in the air, something resembling burnt wood mixed with chemicals. Rhiannon confirmed she smelled it too. Neither could explain what they had seen. Over time, Gareth reluctantly shared the story with friends, though he never openly claimed it had been a ghost. Still, he remained convinced the figure could not have been an ordinary person. Their experience matched several other reports from Pembrey Forest involving burned or charred figures appearing briefly before disappearing without explanation. Some witnesses described ragged men emerging silently from the trees. Others reported blackened soldiers standing at a distance before vanishing moments later. Local historians have suggested the stories may be connected to fatal accidents linked to the ordnance factory and wartime activity in the area. Another strange case emerged in the early 2000s involving forestry workers Colin Jenkins and David Evans. While inspecting a remote woodland trail, the two men noticed movement ahead and initially assumed they were seeing a large dog. As they moved closer, however, they realized the figure was walking upright. The creature stood between 6 and 7 feet tall and was covered in coarse dark hair. Its head appeared elongated with a narrow muzzle and two horn-like projections extending upward. Its unusually long arms nearly reached its knees. The figure stood silently beside the path, appearing to watch them. After several tense moments, it turned calmly and disappeared into the trees. When the men reached the spot, they found no footprints, broken branches, or signs anything had passed through the area. Nearly an hour later, Evans noticed the same figure standing motionless near the tree-line again, silently observing them from a distance. Disturbed by the encounter, the men abandoned their work early and left the forest. For years, neither spoke publicly about what they had seen. Eventually, Evans began researching similar reports and discovered parallels with the Hexham Heads case from the 1970s, which also involved sightings of horned humanoid figures. The similarities unsettled him deeply. Over time, additional local stories surfaced, reports from walkers and cyclists describing tall dark figures appearing briefly before disappearing into the wood. Skeptics argue the sightings can be explained by wildlife, poor lighting, fear, suggestion, or misidentification. Others believe the stories point toward something far stranger.
Natural explanations have been proposed for each case connected to Pembrey Forest, yet none fully account for every detail. Jacob's terrifying experience inside the bunker may have resulted from panic, hallucination, chemical exposure, or environmental factors. Gareth and Rhiannon's burned figure could potentially be explained by illusion or mistaken identity. The horned creature seen by the forestry workers may have been an animal viewed under unusual conditions. Yet despite these theories, many witnesses remain convinced that what they experienced cannot easily be explained. Today, Pembrey Forest continues to attract visitors drawn by both its beauty and its unsettling reputation. The rusting remains of wartime structures still stand among the trees, while stories of strange encounters continue to circulate through surrounding communities. Walkers still report unexplained sounds, fleeting shadows, and the feeling of being watched deep within the forest. Whether these experiences are connected to the region's violent history, the power of folklore, or something genuinely unknown remains impossible to say. Perhaps that uncertainty is what makes Pembrey Forest so unsettling. Some places never fully let go of their past,